Hello and welcome to, why did I hesitate so much? Today we are going to be talking about the 5 best drugstore foundations. So, bit about me, I have dry combo, okay, regardless, I lean dry. But I am a big believer that based on your skincare prep, you can wear whatever foundation you want. Like, just because I have dry skin doesn't mean I can't wear matte, as long as I prep my skin accordingly. I also really enjoy a medium to full coverage, especially buildable, because it's really easy to sheer out a foundation, especially with like a moisturizer, but it's hard to build on a foundation that isn't buildable. That's just like my personal preference. And the third thing I wanted to say is that I want to focus on drugstore because it's the most readily available to everybody. In my head, I have this scenario of like, if I went on a trip and had an aneurysm and like forgot foundation, that would literally never happen. If I lost my bag, like, you know, there's a million things that could happen. These would be the foundations that I would look for at the local drugstore. But yeah, drugstore, because like that's in every town. Like, even some of these foundations are sold at like the grocery store. Because you don't want to be that person that is like on a group trip and then it's like, actually, sorry, I have to go find like a mall with like a Nordstrom or an Ulta or Sephora or something. Like, that's so ridiculous. Just like, be a good sport. Get a drugstore foundation. And also, these are like so freaking good. Like, I wear these just as often as I wear any high-end because I think they are just as good. We are getting ahead of ourselves, but like, there are such good options at the drugstore and I'm going to share my favorites. Okay, let's get into it. First one is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This is a true like medium buildable formula. For claiming matte and poreless, I didn't actually find it to be that drying. To me, this is like the white t-shirt equivalent of a foundation. Was that a good comparison? Okay, it's such a staple because it's so versatile and like basic. Like, it's always gonna look good. But again, just like a white t-shirt, it is pretty plain and basic, and so it just looks like an elevated, like better version of your skin. It's not a foundation that like transforms your skin at all. Next one is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I will never not complain that things have too long of name. Like, that's just me. Give her a minute, okay? This is a foundation, just like you can't judge a book by its cover, you can't judge a foundation by how it applies. It's like when your friend recommends a show and they're like, just get through the first season and then it's really, really good. This is along those lines, as far as whenever you first apply it, it kind of looks strange and it will dry down a darker color. I don't love the term oxidize because it's like too sciencey and I'm not smart enough for that. But this guy looks flawless all day. Like, you put this on, it dries down and it stays that way until you take it off. Because there's nothing worse than spending all that time putting makeup on and then like you look at yourself in the mirror an hour later and it's like not the same looking. That's not the case with this. It is pretty matte and like I definitely do have to kind of over moisturize before I put it on, but especially with mask wearing, I find this stays in place so nicely. But yeah, definitely give her like a little bit of grace. Like, definitely pick out a lighter shade than you think because it does dry down a little bit darker. Next, we have the Revlon Colorstay, specifically the one for combination and oily skin. The one for dry and normal skin has a bit more of like a watery consistency. It's so annoying though that it's like basically 2 different foundations, but like one is for combo oily, the other one's for normal dry, and like, I'm not a big reader. I don't know if you can tell that from the everything about me, but like sometimes I don't have my readers on and I don't read that it's for the combination oily. Like, hey Revlon, just make 2 different foundations. Don't make the same one that are like basically completely different. Anyways, the combo oily one is really nice because it's thick with 2 C's. It just like covers and sticks to your face. Okay, and I'm gonna be real with you, like this is a really like satisfying foundation to apply with a sponge. It just like bounces nicely. Like, you know how sometimes foundations with sponges will like absorb too much or it doesn't like stick to your face as much? This is like a dream to bounce on your face with a sponge. Also, I wore this a lot in college because when you need your foundation to stay from the 10 a.m. pancake kegger to the 2 a.m. dance floor, like this does the trick. It like stays on your face and doesn't move around. Like, I remember like nights having a mental breakdown, crying, and my makeup didn't look it. Like my roommates would be like, you've been crying? You can't tell. Which is honestly the biggest compliment ever for like foundation, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's great for like your face because I don't know how much like breathability it really has. Pick your poison. Like if you want something to stick to your face and like look good a long time, I don't know if it's the best for like your pores. So yeah, this is super great as far as long lasting and application, and it's just like all around good. It's like an old trusty steed. Okay, and I wasn't gonna do the best drugstore foundations without talking about the GOAT. My favorite foundation from the drugstore or high end is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. I have talked about this a lot because it is my just like go-to. I think it really just like hits all my points that I care about in a foundation. It's got a good coverage, the finish is nice, it's like a natural dewy, and it's breathable. Like it doesn't feel like really heavy on your skin. It's like oddly weightless for being so full coverage. I just can't say enough good things about it. This is a foundation that I recommend to any of my friends regardless of their skin type, regardless of how much makeup they wear. Like it's just so versatile and that was like a weird grunt that I just did. Ew. Okay, it's so good. It's so nice. It's so just like amazing. And lastly, we have the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This foundation means business. Like this is like stocks, balance sheets, synergies, stuffs. This can cover anything you got in that it's so opaque. For being so full coverage, it doesn't look heavy, which I think is like a hard trail to navigate, I guess. This does a good job of kind of smoothing and concealing. What I do want to say about this foundation specifically is the shade range leans really yellow. So like keep that in mind when you're like picking these out. It's, I don't know, weird. Just like a little bit in the weird box. But you can trust that this is going to cover up anything on your face, just like you can trust, just you can trust it. All right, so that's it. I hope this was helpful if you are stranded and need a drugstore foundation because these are killer. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment and all the goods, and I'll see you next time. Bye.